It's Market Monday, everybody. Let's take a look back at February 2022 here in Wapakoneta. We'll start first with the market stats and activity. You might be able to tell it was a very quiet February here in Wapakoneta. We had just 2 new homes that were listed in Wapakoneta, 3 houses that went pending or under contract, and 8 homes that sold. We had 2 price changes on the market. The average days on the market was 63, which is a little higher than we're used to seeing, but I'm not putting a whole lot of stock into that because we only had 3 houses to go off of that went pending last month. One of them took over 140 days. The other 2 took 3 days and 43 days respectively. So again, that's more of what we're used to seeing, but that one outlier drags this number up. So don't pay a whole lot of attention to that. The average sales price, the same kind of goes for that. Only 8 houses sold here this month for an average sales price of $138,500. Not putting a lot of stock in that. We didn't have a whole lot to go off of, and a lot of the houses that sold maybe a little bit smaller, older properties, so we don't see the full spectrum in that case. The list to sell ratio is at 96.6%, which again is a little lower than we're used to seeing. Again, a small sample size, but 3 of the houses, in my honest opinion, that sold in Wapakoneta this month really were older properties. They were listed significantly above the market value. They spent a longer time on the market because of it, and ultimately they sold for a lot less than what they were listed for, which drug this number down a little bit. However, we did have 2 houses that sold significantly over their asking price still, that were a little more, I guess you could say, desirable and more of what we're accustomed to seeing. The total sales price in Wapakoneta for last month, over $1.1 million of real estate changed hands in Wapakoneta in February of 2022. Now let's take a look back at last year, February of 2021, and see how it compares to February of this year. You can see we are down big in a lot of these numbers. We went from 7 new listings last year in February to just 2 this year. 17 houses went pending or under contract last year as compared to 3 this year. We are up 2 on solds, however, from last year. Price changes stayed the same at 2. Days on the market increased to this year. Again, not putting a whole lot of stock in that. Average sales price, same story there. We're at $165,000 sold last year in February compared to $138,000 this year. Again, really low sample sizes, and I try not to put a whole lot of stock into monthly average sales prices. The list to sell ratio is down almost a full percent from last year at this time, 97.5% to 96.6%, and the total sales price is up, which is to be expected as we had 2 more houses that sold in Wapakoneta. We went from $991,900 last year, just under $1 million, to just over $1.1 million this year. Here's where you'll get a little bit more of the full story when you're comparing the market between this year and last. These are the inventory stats. So first, let's look at February of 2022's inventory stats. So this is where the market sits at the end of the month. We have just 5 houses that are active in Wapakoneta right now, from $90,000 on up to nearly $500,000. Just 5 houses to pick from. Extremely slim pickings out there. 11 houses are pending, and there's only 16 total houses for the total inventory in Wapakoneta right now. So 31% of the market is still active and available. 69% of it is pending. The months of inventory for the first time in my career has gone under 1 month. So again, if you're new to my videos, the months of inventory is just as it sounds, the months of inventory we have on the market, meaning if we froze the market today and no new listings came onto the market, all of Wapakoneta, all the houses on the market would be sold in less than a month right now, which is crazy to think about. And honestly, at the rate new listings are going, we might sell out in Wapakoneta. We might get down to a 0 market at this rate. Of course, I'm saying that a little bit tongue in cheek, but really, again, we're under a month of inventory, and I'll kind of reference back to that here when we look back to last year as well. The number of sales in the last 6 months in Wapakoneta, 105. So let's take a look back at last year at this time and see where our inventory stats stood. You can see a pretty big difference. It is proportionate though, again. So keep that in mind. We had 8 houses that were actively available at the end of February in 2021. We're down 3 from last year. We had 20 houses that were pending on the market at the end of February last year. And we had 28 total homes on the market at February of last year, at the end of the month, that is. So we're 12 total houses behind where we were last year at this time, which is crazy. Last year, again, you're seeing it, 28 total houses on the market. We're down to just 16 now. Absolutely crazy that the market is pretty much in half from where it was just a year ago. You can see, however, those active and pending percentages are about the same over the course of the last 2 years, meaning, again, that it is a proportional difference. The months of inventory last year at the end of February was 1.34 months as compared to under 1 now at where we stand currently. The reason for that is the 6-month sales also went down from last year. So at the end of February last year, we had 125 houses that sold in the previous 6 months in Wapakoneta. We only have 105 in the previous 6 months from this point in February of 2022. So again, inventory goes down, sales go down. The rest of the numbers, again, it's kind of a proportionate thing. However much inventory goes down is about how much sales go down, and the months of inventory is where the biggest hit is felt. Again, last year we had a month and a third, so a month and maybe 10 days worth of inventory in the market. Now we're down to roughly 25 days of inventory left on the market in Wapakoneta, which is the craziest number. Again, to reference that again, the months of inventory is if you froze the market in Wapakoneta, a new listing was not introduced to the market, the current supply would be sold out in less than a month right now, which is crazy. That just demonstrates how strong of a seller's market we are in right now. From anything in months of inventory from 0 to about 5 months is considered a seller's market. Anything from 5 to 6 months of inventory is considered a balanced market, and anything above 6 months of inventory is considered a buyer's market. So right now, on that 0 to 5 seller's market scale, we're sitting on the very, very low end of that with 0.91 months of inventory on the Wapakoneta market. Absolutely crazy numbers. Again, everything has been proportionate, but however, total inventory is trending down, which means total sales is trending down, which means months of inventory is also trending down in that same fashion. So things are still extremely strong for sellers, record high prices, high demand. Even though interest rates are on the rise, there's still a pretty good pool of buyers out there right now. And if you're a buyer, again, you're probably still pulling your hair out, and it's only gotten harder over the last year. But hang in there, put your best foot forward on your offers. And if you need help buying or selling a home right now in the Wapakoneta or surrounding areas, please feel free to call me at 567-356-7610. Thank you guys for tuning in on Market Monday. Hope you have a great month of March.